Hannah stood on the sidewalk, drenched to the bone, rainwater streaming down her face, mixing with tears she could no longer hold back. A black car pulled up beside her, sleek and expensive, completely out of place in this moment of her complete destruction. The window rolled down slowly, and there he was, Ethan Blackwell, the silent customer who had ordered black coffee every morning for 2 years. But this time, his eyes felt something different. "You need a roof, and I need a wife for my kids. This is not love. This is not romance. It is an agreement," he said. Hannah stared at him, rain pouring harder now, her world already shattered into pieces at her feet. The most absurd proposal she had ever heard, and perhaps the only way forward she had left. But to understand how she got here, standing soaked and desperate on a Manhattan street corner, we need to go back. You're going to be surprised by this story. Stay with me till the end and you'll see why. But first, I have a small favor to ask. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what rating you'd give this story from 0 to 10. It really helps the channel grow. All right, let's get started. For 2 years, Hannah Parker worked at the Grind and Brew, a small coffee shop tucked between glass towers in Midtown Manhattan. It was not fancy. The chairs were mismatched, the floor towels cracked in places, but it had something corporate chains never could: warmth. Real warmth that came from people who cared. Hannah was one of those people. Every morning at 7:15, like clockwork, the door would open and Ethan Blackwell would walk in. Tall, impeccably dressed in tailored suits that probably cost more than her monthly rent, with a face that rarely showed emotion. He moved through the world like someone carrying invisible weight. His order never changed. Black coffee, no sugar, no small talk, but Hannah noticed things others did not. She noticed how his eyes lingered on the family photos behind the counter, how his jaw tightened when children laughed too loud at nearby tables, how he always left a $20 bill for a $5 coffee, never waiting for change. "Good morning, Mr. Blackwell," she would say with a genuine smile, already reaching for the dark roast before he spoke. He would nod, a small acknowledgement, nothing more. "Thank you," he would say as she handed him the cup, their fingers never quite touching. For 2 years, this was their routine, this silent dance of familiarity without intimacy. She wondered about him sometimes, during slow afternoon shifts, wondered what made a man so young look so tired, wondered why someone who clearly had everything seemed to have nothing at all. And Ethan noticed her too, though he would never admit it. He noticed how she diffused angry customers with patience instead of attitude, how she remembered the regular orders without being asked, how she treated the homeless man who came in for free water with the same respect she gave Wall Street executives. There was a kindness in her that seemed almost out of place in New York City, a gentleness that had not yet been beaten down by the world. He found himself looking forward to those brief morning moments, that smile, that simple human connection in a life that had become mechanical and cold. But they never spoke beyond pleasantries, never crossed the invisible line between customer and server. They were strangers who saw each other every day, sharing space, but never stories. Until the day everything changed. Hannah woke up that morning to her phone buzzing violently on the nightstand. The screen showed her landlady's name. Her stomach dropped before she even answered. "Miss Parker?" The voice was sharp, businesslike. "I have been patient, more than patient, but 3 months is 3 months. You have until Friday to vacate the apartment. The eviction notice will be posted today." Hannah tried to speak, to explain, to beg for one more week, but the line went dead. She sat on the edge of her bed in the tiny Bronx studio apartment, staring at the cracked ceiling. 300 square feet that cost more than it should, but it was hers, or it had been. The math was simple and brutal. She had been covering her sick mother's medical bills for months before she passed. The savings were gone, the credit cards were maxed, and now the rent was 3 months overdue. She had one shift at the coffee shop today, one more day of normal before everything collapsed. Hannah showered in the cramped bathroom where the tiles were always cold, dressed in her work clothes, black jeans and the Grind and Brew t-shirt, and walked to the subway. The morning commute was packed as always. Bodies pressed together, everyone avoiding eye contact, lost in their own struggles. She arrived at the coffee shop 20 minutes early, as she always did. Derek, the manager, was already there, and his mood was immediately obvious. He slammed cupboard doors, muttered under his breath, moved with aggressive energy that made the space feel smaller. Derek was 32, but acted like someone who had missed every opportunity life offered and blamed everyone else for it. He had been passed over for a regional management position last month. Since then, he had been looking for someone to punish. The morning rush began. Hannah worked the espresso machine while Derek handled the register. The usual faces came through. The lawyer who ordered a triple shot, the nurse getting off a night shift, the construction workers who bought coffee by the gallon. And then, at 7:15 exactly, Ethan Blackwell walked in. He looked more tired than usual today. His tie was loosened slightly, his usually perfect posture just a bit slumped. He had been up all night, Hannah could tell, working probably, or maybe not sleeping for other reasons. "Good morning, Mr. Blackwell," she said, already pouring his black coffee. "Morning," he replied, and for just a second, his eyes met hers. Really met them. There was something there. Recognition. Acknowledgement of her as more than just the person who handed him coffee. He took his usual seat by the window, opened his laptop, and began working. The rush continued for another hour, and that is when it happened. A man in an expensive suit, someone Hannah did not recognize, ordered a complicated drink. Oat milk latte, extra hot, 2 shots of espresso, 1 pump of vanilla, but not too much foam. Derek took the order, wrote it down wrong, and handed the ticket to Hannah. She made it exactly as written. When the man received his drink, he took 1 sip and his face twisted in disgust. "This is not what I ordered," he said loudly. "This tastes like garbage." Derek immediately looked at Hannah. "Did you make this?" "I made it exactly as the ticket said," Hannah replied calmly, showing him the order slip. "Then you made it wrong," Derek snapped. "You always make mistakes. You are careless." The customer was getting angrier. "I come here every week," he said, "every week, and the service keeps getting worse." Derek turned to Hannah, and she saw it in his eyes. He was going to throw her under the bus. He was going to use this moment to deflect his own failure. "This is unacceptable," Derek said loudly, making sure everyone in the shop could hear. "You have been making mistakes for weeks, giving customers the wrong orders, costing us money." "That is not true," Hannah said, her voice steady but her heart racing. Derek stepped closer, lowering his voice to a hiss. "You are done here. Pack your things. You are fired." The coffee shop went silent. Hannah felt every eye on her. The customer looked uncomfortable now, realizing he had triggered something bigger. The other patrons stared. And at the table by the window, Ethan Blackwell had stopped typing. He was watching, his jaw set, his eyes dark with something Hannah could not quite read. She untied her apron slowly, folded it carefully, and placed it on the counter. She did not cry, did not argue, did not beg. She simply walked out. And the last thing she saw before the door closed behind her was Ethan Blackwell standing up from his table, his coffee forgotten, his eyes following her into the street. Hannah walked. She did not know where she was going, did not have a destination. She just put 1 foot in front of the other, moving through Midtown like a ghost among the living. The sky had been gray all morning, threatening rain. Now it delivered on that promise. First a few drops, then a drizzle, then a downpour that sent people scrambling for awnings and subway entrances. But Hannah did not run. She let the rain soak through her shirt, plaster her hair to her face, run into her eyes, mixing with tears she had been holding back since the phone call that morning. Everything she had been carrying, the loss of her mother, the mounting debt, the loneliness of a city that did not care, it all came crashing down at once. She had nowhere to go, no family to call. Her mother had been an only child, and Hannah never knew her father. The few friends she had made in New York had drifted away over the years, absorbed into their own lives, their own struggles. She was alone. Completely, utterly alone. Hannah found herself standing under a narrow awning about 3 blocks from the coffee shop. The rain pounded the pavement, creating rivers in the gutters. People rushed past, umbrellas bumping, everyone focused on getting somewhere dry. She pressed her back against the brick wall and finally let herself break. The tears came hard and fast, silent sobs that shook her shoulders. She covered her face with her hands, trying to hold herself together, trying to figure out what to do next. A homeless shelter? A 24-hour diner where she could sit until they kicked her out? Sleep on a bench in Central Park? None of it seemed real. This morning she had been a person with a job and a home. Now she was nothing. Nobody. The sound of a car engine made her look up. A black Mercedes had pulled up to the curb directly in front of her. Sleek. Expensive. The kind of car that did not stop in this neighborhood unless it was lost. The rear window rolled down slowly. And there he was. Ethan Blackwell. For a long moment, they just looked at each other. Rain drummed on the car roof. Water dripped from Hannah's hair. She must have looked like a disaster. Drenched, crying, broken. "Are you okay?" he asked. It was the first real question he had ever asked her, the first words beyond pleasantries and thank yous. Hannah wiped her face uselessly. The rain just kept coming. "I am fine," she lied, just waiting for the rain to stop. He did not believe her. She could see it in his eyes. "What happened back there was not right," he said. "That manager, the way he treated you?" Hannah shrugged, trying to hold on to whatever dignity she had left. "It is fine. These things happen." "Where are you going?" The question hung in the air. Hannah opened her mouth to lie again, to say she had somewhere to be, someone waiting, a plan. But she was so tired of pretending. "I do not know," she whispered. "I do not have anywhere to go." The truth came out before she could stop it. "I got evicted this morning, lost my apartment, lost my job. I do not have family. I do not have savings. I do not have anything." She expected him to look away, to make some excuse and drive off. That is what people did when confronted with someone else's catastrophe. They distanced themselves, protected their own peace. But Ethan did not look away. Instead, he did something that would change both their lives forever. He opened the car door. "Get in," he said. "Please?" Hannah hesitated. Every instinct told her not to get into a stranger's car. But Ethan Blackwell was not exactly a stranger. She had seen him every day for 2 years, had memorized the way he took his coffee, the way his shoulders relaxed slightly when he sat down, the way he always said thank you like he really meant it. And right now, she had no other options. She slid into the back seat. The interior smelled like leather and expensive cologne. The heat was on, instantly warming her soaked clothes. Ethan sat across from her, maintaining a respectful distance. The driver pulled away from the curb smoothly, heading uptown. "I need to tell you something," Ethan said. His voice was calm, measured, but there was something underneath it. Urgency, maybe, or desperation disguised as control. Hannah waited, still shivering despite the heat.
"2 years ago, my wife died," he said. "Cancer. It was fast. 6 months from diagnosis to the end. She left me with 2 sons. Noah is 8. Lucas is 5. "I am sorry," Hannah said quietly. He nodded, staring out the window at the rain. "I thought I could do it alone. Raise them, run my company, keep everything together. But I am failing. The boys need stability. They need someone who can be there when I cannot. They need a mother figure." Hannah was starting to understand where this was going, but it seemed too impossible to believe. "I have dated," Ethan continued, "tried to find someone. But everyone I meet is interested in my money or my status. They see the lifestyle, not the children. They want the idea of being a billionaire's wife, not the reality of raising 2 boys who are still grieving their mother." He turned to face her directly. "For 2 years, I have watched you. The way you treat people, the patience you show, the kindness that is not fake or calculated. And I have thought many times that my sons would be lucky to have someone like you in their lives." Hannah's heart was pounding now. "So, I'm going to make you an offer," Ethan said, "and I need you to hear me out before you say no." He took a breath. "Marry me. Not for love, not for romance. As a business arrangement. You would live in my home, care for my children, appear with me at social functions when necessary. In return, you would have your own room, complete financial security, a salary of $10,000 a month, and all your needs met. It would be a contract, 2 years initially, renewable if it works." Hannah stared at him, unable to process what she was hearing. "You want me to marry you," she said slowly, "for money, to take care of your kids." "Yes, that is insane." "I know how it sounds," Ethan said, "but think about it. You need a home, you need stability. I need someone I can trust with my children, someone who will not hurt them, someone who sees them as people, not accessories to a wealthy lifestyle."
"Why me?" Hannah asked. "You could hire anyone, a nanny, a professional." "Because I have been watching you for 2 years," he said, "and I have never once seen you be cruel. Not to difficult customers, not to people who could not tip you, not even to that manager who just humiliated you in front of everyone. You did not lash out. You did not seek revenge. You just walked away with your dignity and tact." He leaned forward slightly. "My sons have already lost one mother. I will not bring someone into their lives who might hurt them, who might leave, who might see them as obligations instead of human beings. But I think you would see them, really see them." Hannah's mind was spinning. This was absurd, completely insane. You could not just marry someone you barely knew. You could not agree to be someone's fake wife for money. But what other choice did she have? "What would the rules be?" she asked quietly. Ethan pulled out his phone and opened a document. He had clearly been thinking about this for a while. "Separate bedrooms, no expectations of physical intimacy. You would care for the children, manage the household staff, attend public events with me when required. In private, we would be colleagues. In public, we would be a married couple. The contract would be legally binding. At the end of 2 years, you could walk away with a severance package of $100,000, or we could renegotiate. And if it does not work, if your kids hate me, if I cannot do this, then we end it," Ethan said, no questions asked. "But I do not think that will happen." "Why not?" "Because I saw the way you looked at my coffee cup every morning, like you were genuinely happy to see me, like making someone's day a little better mattered to you. That is the kind of person my sons need." The car had been driving through Manhattan while they talked. Now it pulled up in front of a building Hannah recognized, one of those historic townhouses on the Upper East Side that cost tens of millions of dollars.
"Come inside," Ethan said. "Meet them. If you feel uncomfortable, if anything seems wrong, I will have my driver take you wherever you want to go. No strings attached." Hannah looked at the building, then at Ethan, then at her own reflection in the car window, drenched, homeless, with nothing left to lose. "Okay," she said. "I will meet them." The townhouse was everything Hannah expected and nothing she was prepared for. High ceilings, original moldings, art that probably costs more than most people made in a lifetime. But it was also empty somehow. Beautiful, but lifeless. Like a museum where no one was allowed to touch anything. Ethan led her through the foyer, past a formal living room that looked like it had never been used, and into a large kitchen at the back of the house. This room felt different, more lived in. There were drawings stuck to the refrigerator with magnets, a stack of homework on the counter. She was by the back door. "Wait here," Ethan said. "I will get the boys." He disappeared up a back staircase, leaving Hannah alone in the kitchen. She caught her reflection in the glass of a cabinet door. She looked terrible, hair still damp and wild, clothes wrinkled, face blotchy from crying. She heard footsteps on the stairs, children's voices. "Dad, why are we coming downstairs? It is not dinner time yet."
I want you to meet someone. Who? Someone important. Ethan appeared first, followed by two boys. The older one had his father's dark hair and serious eyes. The younger one was smaller, with curly hair and a shy expression. They stopped when they saw Hannah, both suddenly cautious. Noah, Lucas, Ethan said gently, this is Miss Parker. Hannah. She might be coming to stay with us for a while. Noah, the older boy, looked at her with suspicion. Why? Because our family could use some help, Ethan said, and Hannah is very good at helping people. Lucas stepped closer to his father, grabbing his hand. Is she a nanny? Something like that, Ethan said. Hannah knelt down so she was at their eye level. Hi, she said softly. I know this is probably confusing, and I know you do not know me, but your dad thought maybe we could all get to know each other. See if we get along. Do you know how to make pancakes? Lucas asked suddenly. Hannah smiled. I do. I worked in a coffee shop for 2 years. I can make really good pancakes. What kind? Noah asked, still skeptical but slightly interested. Any kind you want. Chocolate chip, blueberry, shaped like animals if you want to get fancy. Lucas's eyes lit up. I want dinosaur pancakes. Lucas, that is rude, Ethan started to say. It is not rude, Hannah said. It is honest. I like that. She looked at Noah. What about you? What is your favorite breakfast? I do not care, Noah said, but his tone was defensive. We have a cook who makes breakfast. That is nice, Hannah said, but I bet she does not make T-Rex pancakes. Despite himself, Noah's mouth twitched slightly, almost a smile. Can we have pancakes now? Lucas asked. It is 4 in the afternoon, Ethan said. So? Lucas countered. He has a point, Hannah said. There is no bad time for pancakes. Ethan looked at her, and for the first time since she had met him, she saw something that might have been relief in his eyes. Okay, he said. Pancakes it is. Hannah found eggs, flour, milk in the enormous refrigerator. The kitchen was so well stocked, it could have served a restaurant. She mixed batter while Lucas sat at the counter watching her with wide eyes, and Noah pretended not to pay attention while clearly paying attention. My mom used to make pancakes on Saturdays, Lucas said quietly. The kitchen went still. Ethan looked like he might intervene, redirect the conversation away from painful territory. But Hannah just kept stirring. That sounds like a really nice tradition, she said. What kind did she make? Really big ones, Lucas said. So big they did not fit on the plate. She must have been a great cook, Hannah said. She was, Noah said, speaking for the first time since they had started cooking. She was the best at everything. There was challenge in his voice, a test. He was telling Hannah that she could never measure up, that she should not even try. I bet she was, Hannah said sincerely, and I bet she loved you both very much. Nobody could ever replace your mom. I would not even try, but maybe I could be someone who makes pancakes sometimes, if you wanted. Noah did not respond, but something in his posture softened slightly. Hannah poured batter onto the griddle, using a spoon to shape it into a rough dinosaur form. It was not perfect, but Lucas gasped like she had performed magic. It is a stegosaurus, he exclaimed. Close enough, Hannah said. What do you think? Should I make a T-Rex next? Yes, and a triceratops, and a... One dinosaur at a time, Ethan said. But he was smiling now, actually smiling. It transformed his face, made him look younger, less weighed down. They ate pancakes at the kitchen counter. Lucas talked nonstop about dinosaurs, space, his teacher at school, a friend named Marcus who could burp the alphabet. Noah stayed quiet but ate 3 pancakes, which Ethan later told Hannah was more than he usually ate. When they finished, Lucas looked at Hannah seriously. Are you going to live here now? I do not know yet, Hannah said honestly. Your dad and I are still figuring that out. I hope you do, Lucas said. You make good pancakes." Noah did not say anything, but when Hannah started to clear the plates, he helped without being asked. After the boys went back upstairs to finish homework, Ethan and Hannah sat at the kitchen table. The house had grown quiet again, peaceful but lonely. "They liked you," Ethan said. "Lucas liked the pancakes," Hannah corrected. "Noah is still deciding." "Noah takes time to trust people," Ethan said. "He was 7 when his mother died, old enough to understand, old enough to remember. He is protective of his brother, of me, of the memory of her."
"That must be hard," Hannah said, "being that young and caring that much." Ethan nodded. "He sees himself as the man of the house when I am not here, which is more often than it should be." "What do you do?" Hannah asked. "For work?" "I run a private equity firm," Ethan said. "Investments, acquisitions, corporate restructuring. It means long hours, travel, stress. I have been trying to cut back, be home more, but the boys still spend too much time with nannies and tutors." "How many nannies have they had?" Ethan looked uncomfortable. 7. In 2 years. Hannah's eyes widened. "They keep quitting," Ethan said. "Or I fire them because they are not good enough. One was on her phone constantly. One let Noah skip school without telling me. One told Lucas that his mother was in heaven watching him, which gave him nightmares for weeks." "What did she say exactly?" Hannah asked. "That his mother was always watching, that she could see everything he did. Lucas started having panic attacks, afraid to do anything wrong because his dead mother might be disappointed." Hannah felt a surge of anger at someone she had never met. "Children need boundaries and love," she said, "not fear and surveillance from beyond the grave." "Exactly," Ethan said. "You understand. Most people do not." He looked at her carefully. "So, what do you think? Do you want to do this?" Hannah thought about the alternative. Homeless, jobless, alone. She thought about Lucas's excited face when he saw the dinosaur pancakes, about Noah's almost smile, about the way Ethan had stopped to help her in the rain when he easily could have driven past. This was crazy. Absolutely insane. Marrying someone for money, living in a house the size of a small hotel, taking care of children she had just met. But it also felt like the first time in months that someone had seen her as valuable, as necessary, as more than just a disposable employee. "I want to read the contract first," she said. "And I need my own room with a lock, and Sundays off, and the ability to leave if it does not work without anyone trying to stop me." "Done," Ethan said immediately. "Anything else?" "I want to be able to tell the boys the truth," Hannah said, "when they're ready. I do not want to lie to them about who I am or why I am here." "Agreed," Ethan said, "but not immediately. Let them get comfortable first." "Fair enough," Hannah said. She took a breath. "Okay, I will do it. I will marry you." Hannah signed the contract at midnight, 15 pages that spelled out her new life. The civil ceremony happened 3 days later at City Hall. No family, no celebration, just a judge and the strangest vows she had ever spoken. "Welcome to the family," Ethan said formally. "Thank you for the job," Hannah replied. The boys took the news quietly. Lucas seemed excited. Noah watched with careful, evaluating eyes. Hannah settled into her new life. Her own floor, her own space. The household ran like clockwork with staff for everything. Her job was simple: the boys. Lucas was easy, 5 years old and full of enthusiasm. He held her hand, asked endless questions, showed her everything. He was healing, ready to let someone new into his world. Noah was harder. Polite, but distant. Perfect on the surface, but Hannah saw the cracks, the shaking hands, the nightmares, an 8-year-old boy trying to hold a broken family together. One night, about a month in, she heard crying from his room. She knocked gently. "Noah, can I come in?" She found him in tears, trying to hide it. "I dream that I forget her face," he whispered after a long silence.
that one day I will not remember what she looked like. Hannah's heart broke. She told him about losing her own mother, about dreams that still hurt, about carrying sadness differently over time. You do not have to choose, she said. You can remember her and still be happy sometimes. Both things can be true. Noah looked at her, really looked at her. Can you stay until I fall asleep? Of course, Hannah said. She was, Noah said, speaking for the first time since they had started cooking. She was the best at everything. There was challenge in his voice, a test. He was telling Hannah that she could never measure up, that she should not even try. I bet she was, Hannah said sincerely, and I bet she loved you both very much. Nobody could ever replace your mom. I would not even try. But maybe I could be someone who makes pancakes sometimes, if you wanted. Noah did not respond, but something in his posture softened slightly. Hannah poured batter onto the griddle, using a spoon to shape it into a rough dinosaur form. It was not perfect, but Lucas gasped like she had performed magic. "It is a stegosaurus!" he exclaimed. "Close enough," Hannah said. "What do you think? Should I make a T-Rex next?" "Yes, and a triceratops, and a—" "One dinosaur at a time," Ethan said. But he was smiling now. Actually smiling. It transformed his face, made him look younger, less weighed down. They ate pancakes at the kitchen counter. Lucas talked nonstop about dinosaurs, space, his teacher at school, a friend named Marcus who could burp the alphabet. Noah stayed quiet but ate 3 pancakes, which Ethan later told Hannah was more than he usually ate. When they finished, Lucas looked at Hannah seriously. "Are you gonna live here now?" When she finally left his room an hour later, Ethan was standing in the hallway. "How long have you been there?" she asked. "Long enough," he said, quietly. "Thank you," he said, for understanding him. Their eyes met. Something passed between them, something that went beyond their business arrangement. "Good night, Hannah." "Good night, Ethan." But something had shifted, something neither of them was quite ready to name. 3 months into the arrangement, everything was working. The boys had accepted Hannah. Lucas called her Hannah Mom sometimes. Noah actually smiled. Ethan came home earlier. The house felt like a home. And then Vanessa Hale called. Hannah answered the house phone. A smooth, confident voice asked for Ethan. "Tell him I am back in New York," Vanessa said, "and I would love to catch up." When Hannah told Ethan, his whole body tensed. "Vanessa is my ex-fiancée," he explained. "She wanted me without my children. I chose my sons. She left angry." A week later came the charity gala, the first public event where Hannah would appear as Ethan's wife. She wore a stunning green dress, Ethan in a tuxedo. His hand rested on her back as they moved through the crowd. Until Vanessa appeared. Tall, blonde, stunning, moving with absolute confidence. "Ethan," she exclaimed, "I have been hoping I would see you here." She turned assessing eyes on Hannah. "And who is this?" "My wife," Ethan said. "Hannah, this is Vanessa Hale." "Your wife," Vanessa repeated, smile sharp. "How wonderful! And where did you two meet?" "Through mutual friends," Hannah said. "How vague," Vanessa said with false sweetness. "So tell me, dear, what do you do? I mean, before you became Mrs. Blackwell." "I worked in a coffee shop," Hannah said honestly. "I don't know yet," Hannah said honestly. "Your dad and I are still figuring that out." "I hope you do," Lucas said. "You make good pancakes." Noah did not say anything, but when Hannah started to clear the plates, he helped without being asked. After the boys went back upstairs to finish homework, Ethan and Hannah sat at the kitchen table. The house had grown quiet again, peaceful but lonely. "They liked you," Ethan said. "Lucas liked the pancakes," Hannah corrected. "Noah is still deciding." No, it takes time to trust people, Ethan said. He was 7 when his mother died, old enough to understand, old enough to remember. He is protective of his brother, of me, of the memory of her.
Vanessa's eyes widened. A coffee shop? How quaint. And now you are married to one of the wealthiest men in New York. What a coincidence. Ethan's hand tightened on Hannah's back. Vanessa, that is enough. I am just making conversation, Vanessa said innocently. She floated away, leaving poison in her wake. I am sorry, Ethan said. She is a nightmare. Why were you ever engaged to her? Hannah asked. Because I was younger and stupider. I did not realize that kindness mattered more. He looked at Hannah. You are worth 100 of her. Do not let her make you feel otherwise. Come on, he said. Let us dance. I do not know how to dance, Hannah said. Neither do I. We will figure it out together. They moved to the dance floor, awkward at first, then settling into rhythm. And for a few minutes, surrounded by strangers, it felt like maybe this was not all pretend. Maybe some part of it was becoming real. After the gala, something changed. Ethan came home earlier. They had coffee together in the mornings, small moments that accumulated into something bigger. 5 months in, Noah had a school presentation about the solar system. He was terrified, but Ethan rearranged everything to be there. They sat together while Noah explained the planets, stumbling but making it through. Afterward, they took the boys for ice cream. This is nice, Ethan said quietly. It is, Hannah agreed. Somewhere along the way, this stopped being a business arrangement for me, Ethan said. And I think maybe it has for you too. If you wanted to change the rules, I would be okay with that. Before Hannah could respond, Lucas came running over, asking for sprinkles. The moment passed, unresolved. That night, Hannah stood outside Ethan's door 3 times. Each time she could not knock. She went back to her own floor, lying awake until dawn. The contract said 2 years. They were only halfway through. But the contract had not accounted for feelings that were not supposed to develop, for a fake marriage that was starting to feel real. They both lived in the in-between, maintaining boundaries while everything in them wanted to close the gap, too afraid to admit what was happening. Until the day when everything came crashing down, and they had no choice but to face the truth. The article appeared on a Tuesday morning. Hannah was making breakfast when alerts flooded her phone. The headline, Billionaire Ethan Blackwell's Secret. Wife was homeless barista and contractual marriage. Photos of her drenched and crying 6 months ago next to photos from the gala. The contrast deliberately cruel. The article had everything. Her eviction, the firing, contract details leaked. It painted Ethan as desperate and Hannah as a gold digger. Ethan read it, his face going cold. Vanessa, he said. It had to be her. Over the next days, it got worse. More articles, paparazzi. The boys could not go to school without cameras. Noah was anxious. Lucas had nightmares. Hannah felt it all crashing down. She heard, but the contract had not accounted for feelings that were not supposed to develop, for a fake marriage that was starting to feel real. They both lived in the in-between, maintaining boundaries while everything in them wanted to close the gap, too afraid to admit what was happening. Until the day when everything came crashing down and they had no choice but to face the truth. The article appeared on a Tuesday morning. Hannah was making breakfast when alerts flooded her phone. The headline, Billionaire Ethan Blackwell's Secret. Wife was homeless barista in contractual marriage. Photos of her drenched and crying 6 months ago, next to photos from the gala. The contrast deliberately cruel. The article had everything. Her eviction, the firing, contract details leaked. It painted Ethan as desperate and Hannah as a gold digger. Ethan read it, his face going cold. Vanessa, he said. It had to be her. Over the next days, it got worse. More articles, paparazzi. The boys could not go to school without cameras. Noah was anxious. Lucas had nightmares. Hannah felt it all crashing down. She heard Ethan on late-night calls,
clients questioning him, business partners concerned. She was ruining his life. "We need to talk," Ethan said one evening. They sat at the kitchen table. "This is not sustainable," he said, "but I do not want you to leave. We can ride this out." "Even if that is true," Hannah said, "it does not change the damage. Every day there is a new article. The boys are suffering. Your business is suffering. All because of me." "That is not fair," Ethan said. "None of this is your fault. But it is my presence that is causing it. If I leave, it stops. You can say it was a mistake. Your life goes back to normal." He reached across the table, took her hand. "Stay. Please. We will figure this out." Hannah looked at their joined hands, then thought about Noah's face when photographers chased them, Lucas crying, Ethan defending choices that should not need defending. She pulled her hand back. "I cannot. I cannot stay and watch you all suffer because of me." She stood. "I'm going to pack my things. I will leave tomorrow morning before the boys wake up." "This is not easier," Ethan said, standing too. "This is running away." "This is protecting you," Hannah said. "You deserve better than this circus. What I deserve is to make my own decisions, and I want you. The boys want you. Does that not matter?" "Of course it matters, but sometimes love means letting go, means doing what is best even when it hurts." "You are saying you love us," Ethan said. Hannah did not deny it. "Then stay. Love means fighting, not running." But Hannah was already walking away, up the stairs to pack. By morning, she would be gone. Hannah left at dawn. She wrote 2 notes. One for Ethan, thanking him and apologizing. One for the boys, telling them how special they were and how much she loved them. She left both on the kitchen table and walked out with her single suitcase. It was raining. Of course it was raining. She found a cheap hotel in the Bronx, turned off her phone to avoid Ethan's calls and texts. "Please come back. We can figure this out. The boys are asking for you." 3 days passed. Hannah stayed in the hotel room, trying to figure out what came next. On the 4th day, there was a knock. She opened it to find Ethan, soaked from rain, eyes wild, looking like he had not slept in days. "How did you find me?" "I checked every hotel in the Bronx, all 43 of them." He stepped inside. "I held a press conference," he said, "told every reporter exactly what happened. That yes, our marriage started as a contract. That yes, you had been homeless, but that somewhere along the way it became real. That I fell in love with my wife. That my children love her. That whatever anyone else thinks does not matter because we are a family." "You said that? Publicly?" "I said that, and most people did not care. My real friends understood. Because people who matter know that love comes in different forms." He stepped closer. "I have spent 2 years being scared. Scared of feeling too much. But being scared is just another way of being alone. And I do not want to be alone anymore. I want you. The boys want you. We want our family back. Come home," he said. "Not because of a contract, but because you belong there. Because we love you. Because I love you." "You love me? I have loved you for months. I was just too stupid and scared to say it." "What about the contract?" Ethan pulled out the original contract and tore it in half. "No more contract. Just you and me and the boys. A real family. If you want that." "I want that," Hannah said. "I want you. I want them. I want all of it." Ethan kissed her. Finally. Properly. And Hannah kissed him back. "The boys are in the car," Ethan said. "They refuse to stay home. They have been searching with me." They went downstairs. Noah and Lucas jumped out, running to her despite the rain. They crashed into her, hugging her, talking at once. "You came back. We missed you. Dad said you loved us." "I did come back," Hannah said. "I do love you, and I am so sorry I left. I am home. For real this time. Forever if you will have me.
Forever works, Noah said. They drove back to the townhouse, together, a family that had started as a transaction and become something real. Spring had arrived in New York. Hannah stood in their office looking at the framed photo from their second wedding, the real one, small and intimate in the garden, Noah as ring bearer, Lucas in a dinosaur tie. They had written their own vows. Ethan promised to love her through every season. Hannah promised to stay and fight instead of run. Now, 6 months later, life had settled beautifully. Hannah was taking business classes. Noah had joined soccer. Lucas was obsessed with astronomy. Ethan came home every night for dinner. She heard footsteps. Ethan wrapped his arms around her waist. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. "Everything. How far we have come. How different life is now." "Better? So much better." She turned to face him.
Do you ever think about that day? The rain? The proposal? How insane it all was? Every day. And I thank God for the rain. It was not an impulse. It was fate. I do not believe in fate, Ethan said. You do now. They heard the boys thundering upstairs, arguing. Life was loud now, full, sometimes chaotic, but always full of love. Lucas burst in. Hannah, Mom, Dad, Noah says pterodactyls are not actually dinosaurs. He is not wrong, Hannah said gently. Pterodactyls are flying reptiles. Lucas's face fell. But that is so unfair. I know, buddy, Ethan said, scooping him up. Science can be disappointing sometimes. Dinner in 10 minutes, Hannah called, and wash your hands. She looked at Ethan. This is our life now. Dinosaur debates and family dinners. Is it what you imagined? No, it is so much better than anything I could have imagined. She thought about that girl in the rain 6 months ago. Alone, broken, convinced her life was over. She had been wrong. Her life had not been ending that day. It had been beginning. Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best ones. Sometimes losing everything makes room for something better. Sometimes a business arrangement becomes real love. And sometimes, if you are very lucky, a millionaire stops his car in the rain and offers you more than just a roof. He offers you a home, a family, a future you never thought possible. You need a roof, he had said, and I need a wife for my kids. But what they had found was so much more than that. They had found each other. They had found love. They had found home. And that was worth more than any contract could ever specify.